In 2015, Leonard Glenn Francis pleaded guilty to overcharging the Navy millions of dollars to berth ships around the Western Pacific. The last 5 naval officers charged with helping him are now on trial. Tom Wright talked to Francis for the podcast Fat Leonard.
In the Philippines, they'd get off. They'd have these crazy parties with carousels of prostitutes and nonstop drinking. They'd share photos of the women afterwards. They'd talk crudely about women. All this kind of stuff is in the indictments.
The officers are charged with accepting lavish gifts in exchange for helping Francis steer Navy ships to his ports for years until his arrest in 2013 in San Diego. The feds have held off sentencing Francis while the other trials are pending. Frustrated, Francis went public last year.
He's one of the longest serving cooperating witnesses in this kind of criminal trial in U.S. judicial history because this has been a big mess for the Navy and for the DOJ because these 5 have they didn't want a public trial. These 5 have continued to plead not guilty.
More than 24 other officers have pleaded guilty, one just prior to trial getting underway. The question is whether the prosecution's star witness will still carry as much weight after he spoke publicly.
There's been talk of some of the prostitutes actually appearing on the stand, so we're going to wait to see whether that happens.
5 officers pleaded not guilty, including a retired Rear Admiral, Bruce Loveless. All served on board the USS Blue Ridge, the 7th Fleet's flagship. During opening arguments, their attorneys say their clients didn't have the power to steer Navy contracts to Francis the way prosecutors allege. The trial is expected to take months. Steve Walsh, KPBS News.